Welcome to the Stogie Geek Show, episode 130. This episode is sponsored by M. Bombay Cigars, representing the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. And by Aged Selects, providing cigar enthusiasts with premium long filler cigars aged at least 5 years at an extraordinary price. You can order online at cigarfrontier.com. And by Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, located in Rhode Island. They have an outstanding selection of premium handmade cigars. And by the Havana Cigar Club in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. And by AJ Fernandez Cigars, handcrafted in Nicaragua using the finest materials. Brands include the San Latano, Pinolero, and AJ's recently released New World brand. Visit them online at ajfernandezcigars.com. And by Debonair Cigars. Visit stogiegeeks.com/Debonair for a list of retailers who carry Debonair. Buy some today and get a little more Debonair. And by Ocean State Cigars. Try the J. Grotto series, including the Connecticut Shade Silk and the new J. Grotto Anniversary series. Visit them on the web at oceanstatecigars.com. Welcome, everyone, to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. I am your host, Paul Asadorian, flying solo for the moment with no regular Stogie Geeks hosts here with me tonight. Will is traveling tonight, and we're actually supposed to have some other guests from Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop join us tonight, but they will be appearing on a future episode. They actually have a very special announcement, and they're waiting for just the right time to do that. So I'm very excited to be here tonight with our guests. It gives us really the ability for me to sit down with a company that makes tequila and cigars. And I can't tell you how excited I am about this segment because I've always wanted to get into fine tequila. And, of course, I'm always anxious to try new cigars. That's what we do here on the Stogie Geek Show. So we've brought here with us Debbie and Jonathan from Senior Rio. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I wanted to start, Debbie and Jonathan, first by kind of talking about the tequila, actually, because when most people think of tequila, right, they think of something that you do shots of at the bar and something that you might put in a margarita. And a lot of people have told me that, over the years, I was actually standing next to someone last year at a conference, security conference, computer security conference, and he was talking about high-end tequila, and I'm like, I really got to get into that, and I just haven't. So I was thrilled, and Will said, no, we're going to bring someone on that makes nice, fine, sipping tequila. So tell us how you got started in creating your company and kind of getting the tequila business.
Well, what happened was Debbie and I met in Arizona. We both moved from, Debbie moved from Chicago. I moved from New York. And Debbie was my real estate agent. And she rang my door one day and started out with as business clients and then turned into a little love story and then back into business when she got a call from her dad who she hadn't seen in 30 years. And he lives down in Mexico and he's getting a little older and his health is declining, and he had called to see if Debbie would come down to see him, and she wasn't sure. And I said, "Look, I lost my dad when I was 17." I said, "Let's go down. I'll go with you." So we ended up going down, and that was almost 8 years ago. And we're sitting around, and it was a little weird at first, being so long of her seeing him, and I'll let her tell you the rest of the story. Yeah.
Okay. So John and I go down to Mexico, and it was quite emotional, of course, because I hadn't seen him in 30 years, and my mom is American, my dad is Mexican, and he spoke English, and we're sitting at the kitchen table, and to kind of break the ice, he said, "¿Quieres tequila?" We were like, "Sure." So he pulled out a little jug, no label, and he poured some for us, and it went down so easy. We're like, wow, this is really good. Mas, sure, we'll have more. So we're drinking it, and it was almost like the tequila kind of helped us to get to know each other better, where we were able to talk about life and what we've been doing. And he had told us that he was making this tequila, but it was just for family and friends. And we were like, oh my goodness, didn't know that. So he had a little still in the back, and he showed us how he had done it, and we learned the process, and we were really intrigued. And so when we came back to Arizona after our week visit, John and I thought, gosh, what if we could bring his process to market? And it had gone back 3 generations, and nobody ever wanted to do that. No one ever had the means or desire to. So we started researching on the internet and traveling down to different distilleries to meet with the master distillers and see if they would work with our process. And many of them wanted to make changes. They like to add vanilla, and they like to do different things to it. And we were just, no, we want it to be, the way that it's been 3 generations ago. And we finally found one that would work with us. And it was just like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this. So we left our careers. I was in real estate, and Jonathan an accountant. And we really put our heart, our soul, and all our cash, and kind of rolled the dice and thought, well, maybe we could do this and make it work.
Yeah, a lot of the distilleries, a lot of corporations go down there, and they just fill up bottles for them. So we wanted something that would represent this history that goes back, as Debbie said, a couple of generations. And I designed the bottle to look more like a decanter and to stand out from the other tequilas on the shelves and make it something that people want to save. And we're actually May 29th will be on the market 6 years.
Wow. Now,
we're more of a boutique brand.
Yeah. So how do you kind of overcome people's preconceived notions about tequila? Because I tend to find that when you say tequila, when you're talking about spirits, people, like I said, often think of something you do shots of at the bar or something you mix with a margarita. And I would never do this the injustice of either of those, right? So how do you kind of make the distinction, in marketing terms?
We do a lot of tastings, not only to change the perception of tequila, but also to introduce our product and show why the quality is better than a lot of the national brands. By doing the tastings, you have the people actually there before they even buy it. They can try it and see the differences. We do have the 3 types, the Blanco, Rep, and Añejo, which we could get into the aging process later. Mm-hmm. But it's a great way to showcase our product and also to have people see that it's not that, mixto tequila that you had in college, got sick on. It's sugars added to it. It's all natural. It's a high quality. We wait a little longer before we harvest our plant, so it gives it a really good sugar content, which gives it a smooth taste. You don't get that harsh burn. So
no, not at all. I'm drinking it now. You were kind enough to send some to us, which is wonderful, and it's absolutely fantastic. Tell me about the 3 different kinds again, in what those means in kind of tequila terms, and what it means to your brand as well.
Okay, well, there's 3 types actually now, because the Americans are into a lot of the whiskeys and stuff. Now there's a 4th category that's been approved by the Tequila Regulatory Commission. So you have your silver or your blancos, which usually are not aged, but they can be aged up to 2 months.
Uh-oh. Nice save, Chris, by putting the picture up there. We had a little some technical difficulties with our Skype connection there. And they're cutting back to me. This is the point where the production staff goes like this and says, "Fill time." I do have to say this tequila is going down really, really well. And if I am slurring my speech by the end of this episode, you will know why. We will talk about cigars, too. I started with tequila. They do make a cigar, which I'm smoking, which is actually really good.
Okay,
really
I think
liking
we're
it.
back.
Yeah, we
Yes,
had
you're
a
back.
little
Good. I was filling
malfunction.
time, and no one likes to watch me try and fill time. So, you were saying that the difference. Now, the Blanco, which is not aged, which gives it that clear color, correct?
Correct. Then the next category is a reposado, which means rested, and that could be anywhere from 2 months up to a year.
Mm-hmm.
We age ours 6 months. And then the añejos are usually 1 to 3 years. A lot of national brands will go 12 or 18 months. We go a full 2 years, and it brings out almost some nice Scotch and cognac characteristics. And then, as I mentioned, the newest category are the extra añejos, and those are 3 years and over. And we actually just hit the shelf with our 5 year extra añejo. So
Very cool.
those are the four
Now,
categories.
which is the one that you've sent us here in the studio?
I believe we sent you the 2-year aged añejo,
Okay, yeah, it's delicious. It's delicious.
which is the name of our cigar, the Senior Rio añejo. So we like to say you can pair the añejo cigar with our añejo tequila.
And that's exactly what I'm doing now.
Good.
It's a very good pairing. It's fantastic. So now you're into tequila. Now tell us how you get started in the cigar business.
Well, I've been a avid cigar smoker for, I hate to say it, but 38 years. And my dad was a cigar smoker. And I always said, it'd be nice to be able to blend, our own type of cigars. So actually in July, through Anthony from Fear the Beard, he's a good friend of ours. He lives out here in Arizona. He told us to go down and see AJ Fernandez. He's doing some great things down there. So Debbie and I hopped on a plane, flew down to Nicaragua, saw their whole operation. And we worked with AJ. I wanted to blend something, medium to full body cigar and have a lot of characteristics to it. And at the same time, Debbie wanted to blend something that would go great for ladies and also for guys who don't want to smoke something as strong as the añejo.
A little bit creamier and a little bit milder. And that's when we decided to do the Diamante and then the añejo.
So the what is the wrapper on the añejo? It's very, very dark, and it's a box press, the one that you sent me.
San Andres wrapper.
Wow, that's a San Andreas. That's extremely smooth and produces a lot of flavor. And it pairs fantastic with the tequila. You did a great job. We need to hang out more. This is great.
Well, if you guys are ever in Arizona, please look us up.
Yeah, no, you did a fantastic job kind of pairing. So, like, how did the process go for you? Did you specifically drink the tequila with, like, some of the test blends? Like, tell me about the process that you went through to kind of find the right cigar to pair with your tequila.
Well, being that we're kind of pros at drinking tequila now,
yeah,
I knew the taste that I wanted. So when we were walking around with AJ and, going through all his tobacco, I told him exactly what I was looking for, and he nailed it on the first blend.
Wow.
I was like blown away. I'm like, this is perfect.
Now, did you let AJ sample the tequila so you kind of knew like where you were going in terms of?
Yeah, we brought down actually all three expressions, which they lost them on the plane, and then we had to wait a day or two to get them, but eventually it got down there. And yeah, it was really nice.
So what was it like when you put your tequila in front of AJ Fernandez and you give him like the first sip? Like your heart must have been in your throat at that point.
Yeah, it was funny because he was there, and then also his partner, and then his assistant, who runs the factory, and they all really enjoyed it because they're used to drinking Flor de Caña, rum.
Yep.
And this was a little different, but they really loved it. They couldn't believe how smooth it was.
That's really great. So, no, do you do like tequila and cigar tastings in like one kind of event? Do you do like events like that?
We haven't yet. We're working on. We have a local cigar. Do you know Fox's in Gilbert? You're probably familiar with them.
I do not know.
Oh no. Okay. Well, it's a local place that it serves liquor and also has the cigars, and they have a little private lounge. So we're looking to do some stuff with them this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the cigars have only been on the market now about 4 months. So it's rather new for us. So we're just putting it in select cigar places.
Mm-hmm.
But Total Wine and More does carry them in their humidors.
Yeah, that's what Will was telling me. And that's a pretty big chain, especially in the South, correct?
Actually, they're in the 16 states throughout the country, which is really nice.
Yeah, I don't think they're too
I
popular
don't know which one would be the closest to Rhode Island. Do you, John?
Yeah, I don't think they're in the Northeast, well, near Rhode Island anyway, that I know of.
Connecticut and New Jersey are the closest.
Okay. Yeah, we people live in Rhode Island. We don't get out too much, so we don't venture as far as Connecticut. Tell me about the tequila tastings. How do those work? When you do the tequila tastings, let's say I was to do a tequila tasting with you, like what would you tell me about this tequila and kind of how would the tasting go?
Oh, okay. Well, we do our tastings usually at the Total Wine and More stores. We set up a table, kind of like the Snapple lady, and we have all three expressions and little tasters of each one. So when folks come over, they see tequila, and some of them shy away because, like you mentioned, they've had the wrong tequila in the past. So they'll be like, oh, tequila. And I said, no, it's the wrong tequila that you had before. Come on over. Tequila has changed quite a bit. It's not a poor man's drink anymore. And so I'll explain how our Blanco is really different because we have citrus trees on our distillery that naturally fragrance it during our fermentation process. So you get this little whisper of citrus on the finish of our Blanco. Plus, as John mentioned, our plants are all from the lowlands, and it's a volcanic soil. So being that we keep them in the dirt up to, 8 to 12 years, you get the proper sugar content. So that doesn't give the harsh burn that people normally get. But in the lowlands from that volcanic soil, you pick up almost a little peppery taste that's kind of on the back burner of your tongue. So we try to explain, let it kind of roll on your tongue like a fine wine and get all the essence of the sweetness of the agave, the spiciness from the earth, the whisper of citrus on the finish, and it's very clean and crisp. And then we'll even say to people, when you had tequila in the past, it was probably a mixto, which is only 51% of the agave plant. We use 100% of the plant. And I tell them all the time, if somebody offers you tequila, put it on your hands and put your hands together like you're going to clap. And if your hands stick together, don't drink it because that contains a lot of sugars. And that gives you that, I don't feel so good the next day. You're going to have that headache. And
is that the other? So when they say it's 51% agave, what else are they mixing with that tequila?
It's sugars, either sugar cane or just white sugar.
I see.
Like you're drinking a cocktail, you're mixing sugars, and that's when you get the hangover and the headache usually.
Right.
Yeah, even our yeast comes from the honey of the plant. So our tequila is really...
And you said yeast. Is that your tequila is a fermentation process or a distilled process?
Well, you ferment it first, and then you double distill it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that's really cool.
There's a lot of work that goes into making tequila, especially when you're waiting 8 to 12 years for the plant to mature.
So the plant has to mature 8 to 12 years. Then you have to harvest it and then ferment it and then double. So what do you mean by double distill it?
The first distillation process brings the spirit to about 20%, 40 proof. The second distillation brings it up to about 105%, and then we add distilled water, bring it down to 80 proof.
Oh, interesting. But then you take that and you age that in barrels, like whiskey?
When you get into the next expression, which is the reposado, where the Blanco is made day one. So that's double distilled, bottled immediately. That's really the purest form of tequila. I like to say tequila in the raw. Right,
because it's clear, so that means it's not aged in barrels afterwards. But the reposado and the añejo are aged in barrels after that. Is that correct?
Yes. And with the reposado, that's actually my favorite because there's a lot of layers to it. The flavor profile is so different than the Blanco. Being that it's in the barrel only 6 months, it gives you a nice introduction to the oak. And whiskey was in the barrel before, so a little bit of that starts to come forth.
What kind of barrels is it? So it's oak whiskey barrels?
Yes, they're French oak barrels that used to house whiskey. And when they make whiskey, they can only use the barrel one time.
Right. So you
and then we can use the barrels over and over to age our tequila.
Right. Interesting. That's awesome. I want to switch back to your cigar. We'll just kind of flop back and forth.
Sure.
So In this añejo, you sent us this. This is a box pressed. I would say it's 6 by 52-ish box press. What other like sizes does the añejo come in?
Actually, right now, that's our first. This is all we have are the one size of each type, just to get it out there. We're going to probably this year work on some other ones.
Okay, so what size is this añejo? With this,
it's a 66 by 52.
Oh, I guessed it right. Imagine
Floral
that.
size, you're right on the mark.
That's awesome. And now, tell us about the other one, which unfortunately I don't have to hold it to the camera. But that's what is the wrapper type on the other one that you sent? In more of like a Corona-ish size.
Sure, that's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper,
Mm-hmm.
and it's petite Corona, so it's really a 40 ring gauge, also box press.
Okay.
Did you notice the hologram of the diamond on the cigar band?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, there's a beautiful hologram of a diamond.
Oh, on the other one or on this one?
On the other one.
Oh, on the other one. Okay, yeah, no, I haven't smoked the other one yet, so.
Okay. Well, if you look at the band, you'll see the band with the name Senior Rio, and then below that will be a hologram of a diamond, and that's dedicated to my daughters who both got married last year.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations.
So the Diamante is for the year of the weddings. And then John just surprised me December 10th. We've been dating a long time. He's been courting me for 8 years. And he proposed. So now we have another wedding coming up.
Oh, and you said yes. So you said he proposed. Did you say yes?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you both. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So what I would just want to ask you along the lines of cigars, what other cigars do you both like to smoke?
Well, every time we would go to a cigar lounge, we would do our tastings. And then after a tasting, we'd usually do 3 to 4 hour tastings. John always wanted to sit and relax with a cigar. Mm-hmm. So wherever we're traveling, we'd seek different cigar bars, lounges, cigar shops. And he knew what he wanted all the time. And I would walk in there and I didn't know what I wanted because I had only been smoking cigars a couple of years. So I would obviously ask the shopkeeper there, what do you recommend? I'm looking for something light, something creamy, something more for a lady. And when they would suggest certain ones to me, I wasn't always pleased with their suggestion because they would give me cigars where they were the flavored ones or they were not the full leaf and I was spitting out the tobacco. And so that's when I said to John, I really want to create one that is something that I would smoke quite frequently. And even with a cocktail or a glass of wine or just with the reposado, I want it to be able to have with all 3 of those. So I couldn't tell you what I smoked because I tried so many different ones.
The ones I've smoked and that I've been enjoying are really a bunch of them. The Tatuajes I really like.
Me too.
The way the Nicaraguas, the Padrones. There's been a lot of new ones out now. Was it Hail to the King? And just so many are coming on the market. So mostly the Nicaraguan and a few of the Hondurians.
Well, that's excellent. I want to go back to the Diamante for a moment. And the characteristics that you described, Debbie, are something that I look for in a cigar as well. I mean, sometimes I do gravitate to a stronger, more powerful cigar, but oftentimes what I like to smoke more of is something that's very versatile, as you said. You can smoke it earlier in the day, and it's not going to knock your socks off, strength-wise. It has a lot of body, so that when you smoke it later on in the day or pairing it with different things, it doesn't overpower the drink and the drink doesn't overpower it. And to find that kind of blend of tobacco is really difficult.
Exactly. So. And, when we talked cigars with AJ down in Nicaragua, and I said, I really want something that's a ladylike cigar because, majority of cigar smokers are men. But I saw how relaxed John would get when he would smoke. Mm-hmm. And I said, I want to feel like that. Mm-hmm. So I started to tell women, give it a try. It's really nice. And it's fit to, hold in a lady's hand. It's not too big and overbearing. And John enjoys it every morning with his espresso. So as you mentioned, it's his morning cigar. And it's my cocktail cigar in the evening.
Yeah, that speaks volumes about a cigar. And There's nothing I enjoy more than a cigar first thing in the morning with a cup of espresso or coffee. So, again, we totally need to hang out.
It goes really well with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, what are the tobaccos inside of the Diamante? What's the what are some of the fillers that are in there? Is it all Nicaraguan from?
It's all Nicaraguan fillers from 3 different areas in Nicaragua, and a Nicaraguan binder.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
What's interesting too, Paul, when they were blending for me, I would say I need a cocktail with it, or I need to have it with the reposado, and gosh, I think we tried about 6 to 8 different blends. And every time they'd come back, I'd just shake my head and I'd say, it's just not quite there yet. And then finally, when AJ handed it to me and I said, oh, perfecto, I gave him a big kiss. And I said, I love it. I hope everybody else does. And I wanted it to be, kind of like a unisex cigar, geared for the women that would like a nice introduction to a well-done cigar, but for the man that, wants to smoke a cigar maybe in 30 minutes, because with John saying, that's like a 60-minute cigar, and you don't always have, 60 minutes to commit to smoking a good stick. So I say it's a nice one that you can enjoy 30 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really cool. I'm really enjoying this añejo, especially with the tequila. I don't know how much more tequila I can drink without slurring my speech. So it does that to you. So, based on what we talked about, kind of like what's some of your marketing plans to appeal to, both men and women and smokers of different types with both your tequila and your cigars as well?
Well, we do a lot with social media. Mm-hmm. Actually, we have Senior Rio Cigars on Instagram, and I'm Tequila 101 on Instagram and Facebook, Senior Rio. So we're really putting things out there to, create awareness about our brand. But mostly it's when we're doing tastings at the Total Wine & More stores that we'll, talk about our cigars and tell them how well it goes. And sometimes we even offer it as a gift with purchase of a bottle, and they really love that.
When we first started with our tequila, that was 6 years ago almost, and we started self-distributing, and we probably built up about 120 accounts, and then from there we got a small distributor, and then a little bit larger distributor, and they really didn't do anything for us. And then finally we hit one of the big boys, and we thought, oh, we got it made. Now we're going to get our product out there. Well, they actually put us to the side. They started losing customers for us, and it was just a shame, because it's really good product. And whenever we did agave different shows and stuff, everybody come back to our booth and say, this is probably the best tequila we ever had. So with Total Wines being really embracing us, and we probably did 100 tastings a year with them, they asked us if we wanted to be an exclusive, and they would put us around the country. So we jumped at the opportunity, and now we've quadrupled our sales, and it's growing every year. And from there, we decided that we really wanted to, being the cigar smoker that I am, we were kind of giving out cigars, but they weren't our blends. Mm-hmm. So we figured, it would be a good way to cross-promote our tequila and our cigars. And then when we go from state to state, we could bring our cigars with us, introduce them to some of the cigar shops that we go to after our tastings. And that's what we've been doing. We just got some cigars down to Texas. I was just at Davidoff's in New York, and they loved our cigar, and they'll probably be bringing them in next month. So we're trying to hit some of the better cigar shops first and getting our name out there a little bit, and then we're going to grow that way.
Yeah, and we're hoping, too, that maybe when consumers go into their cigar shops and they ask for the Senior Rio cigar, and, the attendant there says, well, no, I don't have it, that they can just Google us or go to our website and contact us, because we can sell to different states and we can ship, just not to consumers, but to retail stores. So we'd love to get it in certain stores. So if you know anybody in Rhode Island that wants to carry the cigar that you frequent, tell them to contact us. We're pretty easy to work with.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I will. So where are some of the places that you're visiting next?
We're hitting Vegas at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. So we'll be hitting a couple of cigar shops there. We'll be in Texas again. In Texas, we visited a few last time, so we're going to go back now and bring our cigars because we were explaining that we had the cigars coming out, but now that we have them, we could go in there and actually have them sample them. Just drop some off in California and Palm Desert. So as we hit the different
sorry,
states,
Jonathan, to go back to Texas, that's a fantastic state for cigar. There are some epic cigar shops in Texas. One of our other sponsors, Debonair Cigars. I mean, Phil speaks volumes about Texas and how wonderful it is and very cigar friendly. So that's really smart of you to focus kind of some of your efforts there.
Yeah, and it's such a big state too. So we have probably right now 6 stores, Total Wine stores. So as we go to them, we're trying to hit the different shops down there and from there grow it.
Now, do you both always go together, like as a couple and business partner, to go on these trips?
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we call them vacations.
I was gonna. It's exactly where I was going, Debbie. So, like you said, you're going to Vegas. Like, so, like, are you gonna do some like vacationing while you're out there, or you know?
Yeah, it's a vacation.
It's a
So
vacation. It's a lot of work too, right? When you're out there,
Yeah,
but I'm sure you gotta find time
a little
to.
bit of pleasure.
I mean, how
Yeah.
can you not have fun in Vegas? We like to
Exactly.
play and go out to eat. We're big foodies, and I'm a cocktail gal too. So yeah, we always have a good time. And it's nice that we share the business and share the time together because we really enjoy it. We just became grandparents.
Oh,
so,
congratulations! That's awesome.
That's exciting. It's a new chapter in our life, and she's a beautiful little girl named Talia. So I said to John, maybe when we create another cigar, we'll name it the Talia.
That's a great path to go down. Absolutely. So it's interesting. So you both you are together and you have a business together, so you can kind of overlap a lot of that time. What are some of the points of contention between with the business kind of thing? Are there
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Are there like things that you both kind of don't like agree upon in terms of the tequila and the cigars?
Oh, yeah. We just look at each other all day long like, honey, what do you think about this? We actually just came out with another product, and we'll share it with you, Paul. It's called Senior Rio Cafe Elegancia, and it's a coffee cream tequila. And when we were deciding to do that, we're tasting, he and I, back and forth, and we're working with the laboratory and everything to get it created just right. And he'd say, I'd like this better. I'd say, no, I like this one better. So, yeah, there's always disagreements. And so then we bring in the blind tasting panel, and then they help us.
So
and then we also
what's the
against other brands.
The wine tasting panel, is that like tequila but wine tasting? Like how does that?
We just get people, everyday people, and we let them taste things without a label on it.
We like throwing dinner parties, so we'll invite a bunch of people over. Sometimes the Total Wine guys, and we'll bounce it off of them and see what they think. Let them try it, and so with the Cafe Elegancia, we had 3 different proofs on it. So we had them try them, and then whoever liked this one, we'd say this is A, this B, this C. Just tell us what your comments are, and so we try to get some feedback from the public also, and also the Total Wine guys because they're the ones selling the product for us.
Now, and so that one just actually hit the shelves today, and it's at a great price point, just under $20. It's a beautiful bottle, and it's something to have after dinner. You can just chill it. If you want, you can pour it over ice cream. You can serve it with your desserts, serve it as a dessert. So it's coffee with tequila, and it's very creamy. It's a little sweet, but it's delicious.
Debbie, you said you were into cocktails, and we've been, the past maybe year or so, we've kind of made the transition from beer to cocktails, and we kind of joke that we had to switch to hard liquor to kind of deal with. we do another show on computer security, so to kind of deal with what's going on in the industry, we joke we had to switch to cocktails. So I'm curious, what are some of your favorite cocktails?
Well, it's like the art of the cocktail, and I love a lot of old school cocktails. But on our website, if you get an opportunity to visit SeniorRio.com, just click our recipes. And we probably have about maybe 50 different cocktail recipes, all made with our tequila. And so when we were creating them, we thought of some clever names. So you'll have to check it out and see some of them. But my all-time favorite, and I tell everyone it's like you just had a day at the spa or you just had a nice massage. It's called the Margatini. So it's a combination margarita martini. And every Saturday night I get my martini shaker out, fill it up with ice, use 2 shots. Now, you can't do 1 shot with this one. It's got to be a double. So 2 shots of the Reposado tequila, a little agave nectar. And that's really to your own taste. I use probably 1/4 ounce. And then a squeeze of fresh lime. That's it. Keep it all natural. Give it a good shake over the shoulder. Use a martini glass. If you have time, put it in the freezer. Get it nice and frosty. And you pour that in. You only need 1. You have 1 of those and you feel like, oh, life is good.
I'm going to have to. Agave nectar. Now that's not.
It's a natural sweetener. A lot of people have it in their cupboard now. They're using it in their coffee and tea.
And that's like, it looks like honey, right?
Yes.
I bought some recently. Believe it or not, I bought it at like Target or Walmart or something like that.
Yes.
Like, you can pick it up anywhere now. Right in the supermarket.
And you know what I was thinking? I really like the old fashioned is my favorite cocktail. And I was actually toying with experimenting with using that as a sweetener instead of sugar in the old fashioned.
Yep.
Works really well.
Good idea.
That's
we
awesome.
we look for kind of like kitchen-friendly cocktails because, to be a mixologist today, they use a ton of things. And we don't always have all of that, and I don't want to buy all of that if I'm not going to use it that often.
Right.
So most of ours are with everyday items that you might have in your pantry or your cupboard.
I like that because oftentimes I try and make a cocktail, and I'm like, I really want this cocktail, but I don't have all the ingredients, and then I have to get creative. And then usually that cocktail sucks really bad.
Well, here's one for like a Sunday brunch, or if you have a sweetheart you'd like to fix a nice drink for her. And I love stemware. So get out a champagne flute, put a shot of our Blanco tequila, top it off with Fresca, which is, a diet soft drink. You can get it in the can or 2 liter. Make sure it's chilled. And then just pop in maybe 3 fresh blueberries. And we call that a Senior Rio spritzer. And it's only 80 calories. And it goes down so easy. It's light. It's refreshing. And for a Sunday brunch, instead of the mimosa or the Bloody Mary, you can try that. Or even for celebration.
Even
weddings,
just for a regular Saturday morning, so my wife is just more relaxed on the weekend. I like that.
There you go. Yeah.
And if you use the Reposado with the Fresca, it tastes almost like a rosé champagne.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see my wife liking that kind of cocktail. That's really cool. I just got to get her into cigars now too.
There you go.
Yes, she'll enjoy the Diamante with a cocktail.
So,
I'll tell you what else she'll like with it.
Yeah.
I always tell everyone when they ask me, how do you enjoy your tequila or how do you enjoy your cigar? I say, well, both together. But if I'm lucky enough to get a foot rub too.
All right. Well, I'm not going to tell my wife that
ultimate.
one. Yeah. So, Jonathan, Debbie, do you have a local like cigar lounge that you go to just kind of escape, right? Like it's not business related. You just want to go relax and have a drink and a cigar. Do you have a place like that near you?
Yeah, Fox's Cigar Bar, actually. It's
And
right in
Mesa.
Gilbert. And then also Fine Cigars, Paul Buza, who's really knowledgeable with cigars, and he's in Mesa and Riverview. So those 2 places are pretty much the place I'll hang out.
And the backyard. Always in the backyard.
The backyard. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, do you have other, aside from the coffee, tequila, do you have other tequilas coming out or other cigars coming out that you're working on?
We, the Extra Añejo, I could bring you over the bottle if you'd like to see it.
Absolutely, we would.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's really, how can I put it? It's killer. The Total Wine stores that have it, it's going to be locked in a case because not to scare you or get you shaking in your boots, the price point for this is at $299. And because it was just 1 barrel that we did, only 2.
Oh. Well, it was just at a pivotal moment in the interview where they were going to show us something really cool, too. I tell you what, I could sip that tequila all night long. I might fall over in my chair if I did, but I'm not just saying that, it is really good. It is really good. I'm gonna take this on vacation with me when I go next week. Did you guys try it? You guys haven't tried it yet. Why don't you guys go get some glasses and I'll fill it up so you guys can taste this. I can't believe I haven't done this already. Why don't you guys? Yeah, I'm. While you were away, some technical difficulties there, Jonathan and Debbie. I realized I was being greedy and I hadn't shared any of your tequila with our production staff. So if the production falls off after that, it's because they were all kind of getting drunk on your tequila. So this is a special bottling that you're doing that you said comes from one barrel. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is aged 5 years. So actually was started right when we began our tequila venture. Can you see the
Yes, we can. Yes.
the image? I'll pull the bottle out. And then we have a separate stopper with the logo right on there. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, your bottle designs are really, really cool.
And then the box is kind of cool because it closes like this.
Nice.
And then inside the box, we have a booklet that's the size of a passport.
It's a little passport to
And that shares our story.
pull that side there.
And we hand sign each one. And also each case is numbered. So
It's got a lot of information on us and how we started and a little bit about our product. Yeah.
That's really cool.
And so this is the first generation of the Extra Añejo, one single barrel, 225 bottles. So each store may have maybe 2 or 3 in their case.
So
And
now,
then depending on
go ahead.
how it sells, we'll probably do about 500 bottles this coming year for the second generation.
So now, what's the price point of the other line, like the average price point?
The Blanco is $42.99, Reposado is $47.99, and our Añejo is $52.99.
That's not bad. I mean, you're priced like around. I mean, not as high as Scotch, right? And kind of in that bourbon category. And that whole market is taking off. So,
yeah, the brown spirits is amazing how well they're doing now.
Yeah, it's a good time to be in the business. So now, in terms of cigars, like where are you going next? What kind of new things do you have coming out with in terms of cigars?
We're looking to do some more size and a couple other blends. We went down to AJ and he took us in the back and showed us the different tobacco from all over the world. There's a couple of styles I'd like to try in the fillers to give it different tastes. Because everybody's doing Nicaraguan and the Honduran and Dominican, of course. And then they're starting to, play around with some of the Brazilian. But he's got some other tobaccos that are from all over the place. And I don't know if they actually started blending them yet. So I'd like to take a little shot at seeing how they would taste.
Very cool. Jonathan and Debbie, we do this. Was there anything else you wanted to share, first of all, before I go into kind of the next thing?
We talked a little bit more about the tequila than the cigars because that's been our life for the past 8 years, and the cigars now just 4 months. But also, we like to sometimes, when people ask us, how did you come up with the name, we'll explain, because the name Senior Rio means Mr. River. And when John and I were deciding on, what do we want to call our tequila? You think of all the national brands and different names that they have, and we didn't want anything gimmicky. And so we talked about it, and we thought, what? We decided to do this based on my reunion with my dad. So his nickname is Senior Rio. So we thought we're going to give our tequila an identity. And so we decided, Senior Rio's the name. It stems from the name Rivera, and that was his nickname. So we thought, appropriate, let's make sure nobody else has it. So it was available, and we thought, great, we've got a name now. And then when we were trying to decide on a logo, we thought maybe the agave plant, or we were just trying to think what to do. And I went through some old photographs of my dad, and he was kind of a caballero, which is a Mexican cowboy. And so the picture is a profile from an old photograph of him in his younger years. And so people would sometimes say, well, who's this, Zorro, Antonio Banderas? And I'd say, no, I wish it were Antonio Banderas. But we just tell people, we took a different route. We are on a journey of tequila and now cigars. and we really enjoy it. We feel we have something good, and we just want to share it with everyone.
That's really cool. I can't help. I'm a huge fan of the TV show Shark Tank, and I just can't help but like envision you both going on Shark Tank. And
well, we watch it every Friday night, Paul. And when that show first came on, I said, "This is it, John. I'm writing to them." So I would go online and I'd shoot an email out, and I'd send the pictures of the bottles. I'd send pictures of us with the bottles. I mean, I tried several times, and each time they said no. I thought, gosh, they don't like us. But I don't think they want hard liquor.
Yeah.
We've seen wine.
Plus, they're looking for unique things. So if you come up with, like the wine in a glass or something like that, these pouches, that's what they're looking for. Because they, that Mr. Wonderful will always say if somebody comes on with something that you can copy, he goes, well, why can't I just take my $1 billion and go down and make it myself?
Right.
And he's right. So,
yeah, tequila's not a new invention. There's probably, 1,500 brands of tequila. Mm-hmm. I sometimes kid and say it's like a shampoo aisle, but only half of those brands make their way to the U.S. There's still a lot of them in Mexico that just don't have importers.
And they're amazing.
Don't get here. So it's a competitive market. And the nice thing about ours is it's more like boutique and small batch and handcrafted. So people are looking for something a little more like that. All of our agaves are from the same estate, so you'll always have the same consistent taste. But there's just so many tequilas out there. I mean, when we're at the stores and, we tell people, our bottles are right there in the tequila aisle. Luckily, they're on the top shelf, so we just go look up.
Right.
We'll see it right there because it is a top shelf tequila.
Well, I think if Mark Cuban tried your tequila and your cigar, he would be thrilled because he's a big cigar guy.
Maybe one day he'll walk in a Total Wine store, or somebody will turn him on to it.
That's awesome.
Send it down to the Mavericks.
That's really funny. Okay, so our next line of questioning is, I'll warn you, kind of like completely ridiculous, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm sure Will didn't prep you because we never prep any of our guests. So are you ready to play 5 questions with the Stogie Geeks?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I want each of you to give your individual answers. So, Debbie, I'll start with you. 3 words to describe yourself.
3 words to describe me?
Yes.
Hardworking, sincere, and fun.
Jonathan?
I say fun because I actually very comedic a lot of times, sometimes too much. Complicated and unique.
Excellent. I don't have them in front of me. The last episode we did.
Describe yourself, Paul.
I've answered these before. I would say attention deficit disorder would be the first one, like hyphenated, bearded, and extremely passionate.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
Well, I've never had a guest turn that around. You were actually the first guest to actually turn that around on me, like live on the air.
Okay, I have another question for you.
Okay, so now you're interviewing me. This is great.
You
Okay.
we're playing a game. Okay.
So, if you were a serial killer, Jonathan, what would be your weapon of choice?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably an ice pick.
Debbie?
Machete.
Nice.
I wouldn't miss with that.
Debbie, if you were to write a book about yourself, what would the title be?
Oh, I think it'd make a good Lifetime movie one day. Never take no for an answer.
Jonathan?
Real.
Jonathan?
R-E-A-L. Real.
Jonathan, in the popular game of Ask Grabby Grabby, do you prefer to go first or second?
What's the game called?
It's called Ask Grabby Grabby. It's very popular in Europe.
Oh, I don't know that game.
I don't know that game either. I'm going to Google it.
It's popular in Europe.
What's it called again?
It's called Ask Grabby Grabby. So, Jonathan.
Ask Grabby Grabby.
Yes. Jonathan, do you prefer to go first or second?
I'll say first.
Debbie?
Oh, I'd like to go first, too. Ladies first.
So, Debbie, choose 2 celebrities to be your parents.
To be my parents?
Yes. This is a difficult question.
Well, I'm a big fan of Gloria Estefan. So she could be my mom.
Interesting.
And my dad, I like Andy Garcia too. So there you go. 2 Cubans. How about that?
Jonathan?
I would say Sylvester Stallone and Selma Hayek.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
Excellent. Excellent choices. Well, Debbie and Jonathan, thank you so much for appearing on the show. Thank you so much for sending us tequila and cigars. I have my production staff. They all look very relaxed now. They're all giving me the thumbs up for the tequila, so they enjoyed it. Thank you so much for appearing on the show. Don't go anywhere after the show. I have some other questions and off-air stuff to ask you, but thank you again for appearing on the Stogie Geek Show.
Thank you, Paul.
You made
really
it so fun
appreciate
for
it.
us.
Oh, thank you. So
We have to get together.
absolutely, we totally need to hang out. That was clear. If there was one thing from this interview, we totally need to hang out.
Yes.
Excellent.
Next week, we're actually not doing a show, so we're taking a week off. But after that, we're fast and furious. March, April, May, June. We're doing 4 shows a month. So make sure you stay tuned to the Stogie Geek Show. And I totally forgot about the contest. And I'm going to skip the contest for the show because I can't. Unless you have a. Do you have a question? You're playing music, so I feel like I'm being rushed. Do you have a question, Chris? Is your mic live on the air? I don't think. Did they say that on the show? Okay. Oh yeah. So what will likely be the name of the next cigar from Senior Rio? Email that to the show at stogiegeeks.com. And I'll send you a Stogie Geeks Smoke Naked t-shirt as well as a Joya de Nicaragua red that's in the red box in the cooler here, Chris. So what is the name of likely name of Senior Rio's next cigar? Send that to the show at StogieGeeks.com. We'll send you a Smoke Naked t-shirt and Joya de Nicaragua red. Thanks, everyone, for listening to this edition even. I can't even talk. I've been drinking tequila. I told you I was going to slur my words by the end of the show. We'll see everyone in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To follow these vibrations to save the mind.